am the Knight. I am Batman!
But I'll grow back. We always grow back.
Hello, citizens of Gotham, and welcome back to another episode of the Batman the Animated Series podcast, the show where we go back to the 90s and watch and review every single episode in the way it was intended. I'm joined again with Levi and Gibbs.
Hello.
Hello.
And today we're reviewing episode 5, Pretty Poison. Let me get some credits down, and then we're gonna talk about it a bit. So this episode was directed by Boyd Kirkland, who he's done a ton of them. He's done a ton of episodes. So we'll
Great director.
Great director. He's got some really good episodes that are coming up. So this story, the story was written by Paul Dini and also co-written by Michael Reeves. And the cast is of course Kevin Conroy, Robert Costanzo, Bob Hastings. Richard Mole comes back as Harvey Dent. We saw him on Other Wings. This is another episode of Alfred. He played Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. plays Alfred. He also plays the pilot in this episode.
I thought it was Clancy Brown was Harvey Dent.
No, it's not. I messed up. I thought it was as well. It really sounded like him in that when we were watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. I do think Clancy Brown is in the animated series universe though. He's plays somebody. I'd have to look. Anyways, but this is the first episode with Diane Pershing as Poison Ivy. Lloyd Bachner as Mayor Hill. This is the first episode of Renee Montoya. She's a very minor role in this episode, but it's Ingrid. I always mess up her last name. Oliu.
Just say it confidently.
It's Oliu. So, anyway, so yeah, that's the cast. This episode is essentially about Harvey Dent falling in love with Pamela Isley or Poison Ivy, and she's a botanist, of course, who has an affection and hides a lethal rage for Dent, and so she kisses her, sends Dent into a coma after poisoning him, and then Batman investigates it and has to track down Poison Ivy, and then they kind of duke it out. So that's the episode. But guys, what do we think of this episode? I particularly really enjoy this up, but Gibbs is the biggest fan. So go ahead.
I love this episode. I really enjoy this.
You've seen it before.
I really enjoy this poison. Yeah, I've seen this one a bunch of times. Yeah. I really enjoy this Poison Ivy throughout the whole animated series. She is great. There's a great episode coming up. I know I'm going to talk about another episode where her and Harley Quinn team up, and it's like the girl boss episode, and it's
girl
awesome.
boss up. It is.
But
I think
as far as this episode goes, I just really appreciate the sort of how most of it's sort of like just like a mystery, like sort of thriller more than anything. It doesn't really get a whole lot of action besides the beginning and the end. It's really mostly just about sort of the slow burn detective app. And I always tend to really enjoy those with this show. And just I love the setting of the botanical gardens at the end, and just the whole through line of the okay, 1 second. What's up? Okay, sorry. What do you need? Phone? It's down here. But you have that phone.
It's not working. The charger.
Okay. Well,
Can I get the whole charger?
I think it doesn't need to be down here because it connects to the Wi-Fi.
Put that one on there and charge that.
Do you want to redo your thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so confused. It looked like
you
a horror movie.
You noticed it. You noticed him before I did.
Yeah, no, we saw. Yeah, we were both like, hello. He's creeping in the back.
He was creeping in. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
I know, because you haven't seen my dad before.
Yeah, but Levi,
you probably thought it was someone was
Yeah, I was like,
oh, you never, I thought you met his dad. Oh,
no.
I see. All right, sorry. Go ahead, Ben. Redo what you're saying.
Okay. So I personally loved this episode. I love this adaptation of Poison Ivy. I think she's great throughout the whole series. There's a great episode in the future with her and Harley Quinn where they sort of team up. And that's great. Girl boss episode. Yep. But as far as this one goes, I just really enjoy it. It's like how it's sort of like a mystery thriller most of the way through. It's really a true detective story. And I just love the setting of the botanical gardens at the end there. It's so cool. It gives me the Little Shop of Horror vibes, and the whole through line with like the rose It's just a great like narrative device, and
Mhm.
I don't know, it's a great introduction. We're gonna see a lot of like villain introduction episodes over the next
Yeah.
like 15 to
This
20.
is kind of what we're doing, yeah. Here.
So this was great, and like it just sets her up for great outings for the rest of the show. So big fan here.
It's either like episodes like this or like they're two-parters, and they're, some of them are even better. But Levi, what did you think of this episode?
Yeah, I think
Fresh.
yeah, very fresh. I honestly, you saying the two-parter thing just made me have the thought. Like, I think I wish this were a two-parter. Honestly, I think I wish I had more time with it.
You wanted more?
I think this is by far the best directed episode that I've watched so far. Like the first half, especially, was kind of like insane with the way the shot composition was. Like, this is like a movie. It's like movie quality in the way stuff was getting framed up. I was really into that. But in terms of the Poison Ivy, I'm not sure if I'm as this is my first. So this is obviously an iconic design, I imagine, because it's from the animated series. People love this show.
Yeah.
But I have not interacted with this design before, at least in this animated form, and I'm not sure I like it as much. Just straight up, like she's wearing like a unitard kind of thing. It's very Batman and Robin, which I said before the show. Like it gave me huge Uma Thurman.
It's different though, but yes,
as Poison Ivy vibes. Where I'm more accustomed to the, I think, which is definitely a newer version of the character, which is what I've experienced in like the Arkham games and like the new Harley Quinn show, where she's like green, like she is like a plant, and not just like a botanist who really likes plants, but like she is physically like connected to the plants and she can control them. But I still love the plot of this episode. Everything that Ben said was correct about the mystery and the detective, and Batman has a lot, especially after watching last episodes, Last Laugh, compared to this, where it's very, very methodical, very intentional, very, he is meant to be the world's greatest detective, and you feel that way more so, that theme in this episode. I don't know. I liked it. I liked it a lot, but
that's good.
But Poison Ivy, I don't know if it is doing.
So
it's not your Poison Ivy. Well, maybe she'll grow in you.
I think there's a lot more episodes, great episodes.
She has some really great episodes.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to say though that when she's still Pamela Isley, like the opening of this episode, the penitentiary, all the stuff with Harvey in the restaurant, and the cross-cutting between him talking about him being Bruce's friend and awesome. Being back, is so good. And honestly, my favorite thing of the episode, I think, is a very small detail where the whole thing is about how she's trying to get revenge on Harvey because he paved over all these plants to build this penitentiary. And there's this title card at the beginning. It's like a flashback, and it flashes forward to a better, safer Gotham, and it's like all dark and dreary. I'm like, that's awesome. I'm like, this is just that was just such a great little moment.
Yeah, because they like made it look like old film. At least
it was so cool,
like weathered film.
The style of all of this I was there for all of that.
Yeah,
I did really like this episode.
Yeah, my thoughts. I love this episode a lot. This is the Poison Ivy that I think is my favorite across all Batman mediums. Again, there's more episodes with her, so Levi, I think you might have a change of heart, but we'll see. But yeah, this is a classic app. I mean, there's so much. I mean, I pulled a couple little screen caps, but like we have moments like this, like shots like this.
That was like awesome. Yeah.
Crazy loopy, like it's super cool. Batman's being poisoned, and then we have ones like this as well. So, this episode's got variety, which I really like.
One thing. That was one thing I have to interject that I think I actually didn't like about the app, was specifically
Harvey Bullock.
Well, they played that bit of like, oh, there's an escape from the penitentiary, and it's fine, whatever, like GCPD scrambling, and then they're like, they play the exact same shot again, but it's like Harvey Dent's in the hospital, and like everyone's
what?
Like,
a lot of people go what in this episode.
Well, they have to interject the humor throughout, whereas the last episode that we just watched,
full goof
all the way through. So I'm gonna take this. Over that.
Sure.
No, I think this episode has a good balance, but I mean the direction of this episode is great, and it's Bob, and he's done a lot. And I also do want to shout out, and we haven't done this yet. Andrea Romano is the casting director. She pulls good talent. The voice acting in this episode I really liked as well, and I think Poison Ivy is a great casting. But yeah, I mean I think it's so well directed. I mean, and well shot. I mean, there's this shot too, which I really love. Everything at the end with the fire in the greenhouse was just so awesome to look at.
It was visually
anyways,
stunning for sure.
yes.
Another one of my issues, a few issues with this
Yeah.
episode was I didn't feel like the music matched the intensity sometimes, especially in the greenhouse.
Hmm.
I wasn't vibing with the theme.
Yeah,
I'm gonna disagree there. That was actually going to be
Yeah.
one of my
Particularly the moment
favorite
when
parts.
he's
Yeah,
like,
I think
going
Shirley
like
killed
the
it.
plants got him. I was like, I don't.
Oh, I love that. The way,
I was
the,
like, I
way
don't like
it's the way it's the classical music instead of like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
usual like intense score. I don't know.
I
That was one of my favorite things. About
I'm in
this
the good
episode.
music boat.
I loved the classical
for me.
there.
It's fair. It's fair.
It sort of reminded me of the beginning of the Batman, where you got the Ave Maria
Yeah.
sort of. But I know
Love
Levi
that.
didn't like that either in the Batman.
Yeah.
So
Levi doesn't like classical music.
I think
I
Levi just hates classical music.
That's not accurate at all. And
then.
no, I don't think it's the because no, she puts on classical music for the plants or whatever. Like there's that
Yes.
moment. But I was talking about
Yes.
specifically when he's like his feet are wrapped around the pipe and he's
Mhm.
being pulled towards. I don't think that's not like diegetic classical music. Like it was the score.
No.
And I was like, and it was like, I don't like this score.
Yeah, I don't think it was. At least
That's
in-
what
in
that's what
Dr.
I'm
Jones'
talking
case.
about.
The initial moment where the Venus flytrap sort of attacks.
Yeah, I'm
him.
talking about much later. This is
Alright.
when it's
I don't,
like,
Yeah, when
specific-
he's-
I don't specifically remember it sticking out to me, but
Yeah,
Well, it turned out to
I
be
guess
that
I don't know either.
I was noticing that it didn't really match. It felt like it was a score for a different scene, and sometimes these shows, it's likely not the composer's fault. Oftentimes these shows, I mean, they even do it in big budget movies. I mean, if you listen to continue Star Wars references, like the prequels, like John Williams reuses themes all the time for stuff.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and
This show
shows like
definitely
shows like
reuses
this where
themes.
you have a TV composer and they drag it out. They reuse stuff that was composed for a very specific moment over other stuff all the time. And it felt like one of those moments where I was like, I don't think this music matches this at all for this like tense scene. But
yeah, no, this show
Super-
does it a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
So.
there's a little bit of a break.
But to kind of dive into the plot, the plot a little bit. I mean, we mentioned it before, but I loved the beginning, like the flashback with the old
yeah.
film, and
Very
I
cool.
thought that was so cool. I think I really like this part of this episode where we just like see Bruce and Harvey's relationship,
Yeah,
and it's gonna make the Two-Face two-parter even more.
that was my favorite part of the episode.
effective.
Hands down.
Yeah,
Was
is their
their
dynamic?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, no, they got a
And
they got a good
specifically,
friendship. And I always love I
awesome.
love Kevin Conroy's Bruce Wayne. He's too good. He's like he's the right amount of cheese.
yeah,
But
he,
he's like
he does.
he's so cool with it though.
He does the cheesehead.
Yeah,
Bruce
But I
Wayne,
love it.
as opposed to
it's so
the
good.
sort of the cool sort of jerk
Oh, he is cool
billionaire.
too. I think he is.
Yeah, but it's a different. We see the like. I feel like the most maybe iconic Bruce like outside of this is the Nolan trilogy Bruce, where
Yeah,
he's just
Christian
like
Bale,
he's like the
Playboy-
the
Playboy
billionaire
Bruce.
playboy.
Yeah.
And this one, he's just like a nice
we definitely
guy.
get more of that kind of Bruce throughout this show though. I will say.
I don't
But
know. I think he's mostly usually just a nice guy. Like even when he's doing the whole like supermodel thing, like he's just
Yeah. He's not so much of like a mean spirit.
he's not a jerk. I mean,
not a
Batman
jerk,
Begins,
yeah.
he really hammers it in as being like a bad
Yeah.
Jerk. Yeah.
It's a jerk.
fair.
So
Same in
I'll-
Rises or in Dark Knight, not Rises.
I love this Bruce Wayne. So
Yeah, man, I love it too, and yeah, I love that restaurant scene in particular. I think that's a really great scene.
I loved that scene when he comes out of the Batmobile and Alfred's got the change of clothes and you're talking about like,
Yeah,
is the food good? All that stuff, the direction,
Yeah.
extra stuff. I really liked this episode. But
Yeah.
in terms of like the mystery, I did think the Rose thing was a little on the like maybe it's because it's specifically Poison Ivy, and I really was hung up on like
this
the
is
Uma
kind of her
Thurman,
debut,
the,
so it's
the
a
Uma
little-
Thurman Batman Robin thing, where I was like, I know that it's the poison lips. Like I'm like, I get it. I'm like, let's get there.
I
I'm like,
want
I
to
got
say this episode came out before.
Oh, it did.
oh
It did.
no, it absolutely did.
100%.
Yeah.
Like this is not this is why I'm trying to clarify that this is not the fault of the construction of the show.
That's just the fault
It's
of
my-
you watching
it's my
that
own-
first.
Yeah, it's my own.
Batman and Robin was 97.
Yeah, it was much later.
Yeah,
It's my-
that's
it's
true.
my own Poison
I don't
Ivy.
know what I was
Like
thinking there.
my conception of the character. Like the second this episode started and I saw her like dig up the rose, I was like, okay, we're doing the poison lips thing, and like I had the whole plot done, and so watching them execute it, loved it. But
Yeah, much
that's
better
my own
than.
fault. Not
Sure.
the
Than
yeah
this.
not the fault of the episode.
Yeah.
I'll take.
Yeah,
it.
but
I'll
you
take
can see the inspirations. You can see the inspirations.
No,
for
exactly.
Batman
That's what I
and
was saying. Like when I was watching this, I was like, I recognize that this is probably
It's a worse
iconic.
version though.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
this is probably very iconic, and
Yes.
is the version that most people
and there is
identify.
better. There is.
It's
a
my
lot
own.
of
It's
more-
my own experience with the character that is
Yeah.
detracting from some of these beats. Because the
Well,
hard
we've-
She's in
Well, that-
Almost Got Him, which is
that-
a
restaurant
fan
scene
favorite app.
was just so goddamn good.
So
Like,
good, yeah.
the way it was directed, I already mentioned it before, but like, yeah, the cross cutting earlier into as he shows up and like the shot of his credit card, the Bruce Wayne credit card,
Bruce
like
Wayne credit
the-
card,
the,
yeah.
the back card from
The
Batman
back,
Robin.
yeah, right.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
we've talked a little bit about
very good.
our favorite moments, but we're gonna go into our official favorite moment.
Official favorite moment. Do you want to start?
I don't know. I think you guys have said all of them.
There's
but
so many good
yeah.
ones.
Yeah, I am gonna go with the very beginning. I just love like the way that the whole
The old film like flashback.
yeah
part?
the way it's
Yeah.
cut together is just like so great. And
Yeah,
then
it's
the,
super
the
cool.
cut to the 5 years and a better, safer
Safer
is
Gotham
just,
into,
like,
into darkness. Yeah.
it just I don't know. It feels like not in a bad way, but it feels very different from stuff that the show does at times.
Yeah.
It feels more like akin to like like a comic book or like even a movie where it's just I don't
Yep.
know. It's a little dark and like sort of like I don't know. You see like
Edgy, yeah.
industrial
Absolutely.
version of Gotham, and it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's good stuff for a kids show. So
It is. Levi, you got one?
I think I've already said it, but
Yeah.
if I had to pick one specific moment or frame, I guess if we're doing that, because I think I've already said a moment, but it's
Yeah, you
as
can-
the helicopter. There's a shot of the inmate is getting out of the penitentiary in a helicopter, and as it goes through the city, you see it's like shadow, and then you see like Batman on this edge,
Yeah.
like just watching as it goes by, and then that's just so good. Like there was that frame there of him.
Yeah.
It
And
was
that's
very
early in
good.
the yeah.
I love the shot where it pulls down from the like helicopter chase, like sort of all the way from the high rises all the way down to the street level of
yeah.
Mhm.
Gotham, and we first go into the Rose Cafe.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great camera work.
My favorite moment. My favorite moment. Well, I feel like I've said it. The restaurant scene. I think everything with there and just that whole scene is really great. But I guess I can just say favorite shot. I think my favorite shot, honestly, and I just showed it earlier. I love this.
Is
shot.
the poison ivy crossbow? Is that a thing?
In
This show kind
it
of
is.
started it? Yeah. To my knowledge, no. But I love it. I love it as a part of
As
the
someone
animated
who's
series one.
I consider myself at least a medium Batman fan. I was like, I don't think I'm not familiar with the poison ivy crossbow.
Yeah, no. She usually. I think it's the animated series that kind of started that. So, yeah, I mean, there's a host of shots in this episode that would be my
Gorgeous
favorite.
episode.
They-
Can't stress enough.
they have gorgeous
This episode
episodes.
was the best directed episode of
Yeah.
the show thus far that I have seen, and
For
it
sure.
will likely stay it for a while because it was damn good. Like I was impressed the
Yeah.
whole way through.
Yeah, then the next one we have is the Underdwellers, which have you seen that one, Ben?
No, I have not.
Oh, that's an interesting one. But anyways, we'll get to it. But so yeah, everybody do their favorite shots.
Yeah, trivia. I think
Yep.
we're on to some. Give us some
All
trivia.
right,
Some
I
trivia,
like.
Johnny.
Oh, this episode got some trivia, so we'll be able to take a look here. I said this before. First time Renee Montoya's in this show. She's kind of a mainstay. Oh yeah, so the greenhouse. The end of the show was actually adapted into the game, the Adventures of Batman and Robin game, which has like the Venus flytrap as a poison ivy boss. Pretty cool. Yeah, that's those are two big ones, but there's some inconsistencies in this episode that are pretty cool. When Gordon answers the phone, when Harvey Dent's poisoned the cord moves through the phone, like you can see it. I don't know if
I noticed-
I caught it. Did you guys see that?
I noticed the one I noticed in terms of like
Yeah.
flipping was when like the doctor like moves through Bruce a little bit.
The doctor moves
When-
through. Bruce.
Yeah,
Hmm.
at least it looked like it when he's like getting the sample.
Another one. Did you guys notice? When Batman was kicking the teeth of the Venus flytrap, they kind of in the next shot they were back.
I did notice that, but
Yeah.
I was under the impression
I
that
assume
they
they
had
grew back,
They
yeah.
had grown back. Yeah.
Yeah. That's I assume that as well. Yeah, is that there's a lot of like weird kind of obscure references to like other Batman shows that kind of seem kind of surface level. So I didn't read them, but yeah, there's like a Young Justice thing that. So, anyways, those are kind of
I was whelmed by
main
those
ones
facts.
there.
It's a Young Justice reference for you.
Yeah. Anyways, so title card. I'll show it here. This is the pretty poison.
Good one. Me
Yeah,
like
I love it.
Yeah, me likey this one.
Me
The
like
little
one
bit of
as
red.
well.
The different
Let's,
fonts.
I'll show it
Mm.
off here. We'll put it on the tier list. Here we
Which is-
go.
yeah, I know it probably sounded like I was kind of negative on this episode, but we'll
No,
just-
I understand.
No,
yeah.
Not your version of Poison Ivy.
It
you
was
said, which is
yes.
fine.
It was
You
production wise. It is an amazing episode.
Amazing.
Amazing.
But
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
understand you having reservations about the Poison Ivy, but
let's let's focus on this.
but
Uh,
here's
B-
our-
I'm
here's
thinking
our
B, A.
tier list
yeah,
here.
I'm thinking B.
I'm
thinking this is a
B
good
for this
B.
one.
I think this is a B as well.
We're pretty unanimous there. I
We're,
mean,
we're starting our gun shape again. I have
to the
a
gun,
feeling
yeah.
From
Something
our
about
Star
the-
Wars tier list we used to do.
the red. The red is very good. Like the little use of red.
Yeah, the subtle rose.
the
with the red.
branches.
Yeah.
It's
I like the fonts in here. You know,
the fonts. Yes,
Some-
it creates
something about it. Just works.
something
works.
about it.
it works.
But there it is. That's 5 episodes down. Many more to go. But
Many
there,
more.
but there that is. So final rankings. Or we can also give our final thoughts. But for me, yeah, this episode, I think this is solid 8.7. I think for me.
Okay.
I really.
Well,
Oh. All right, Levi. What were your what's your final rating?
well, Johnny said an 8.7 there. I'm surprised he's there. I was expecting higher from both of you because I'm probably like an 8.2, 8.3. Like I'm still pretty up on this. This was definitely reached the past 8. I think if I could watch it again, and I will at some point, retaking the Ivy, I think it has the potential to be like an 8.5 or a 9.
Can you hear me
but-
now?
Yes, but we can't see. There you go. You're back.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's that low. Because what if you put your
Sorry.
personal your personal?
Where would I put my
so
personal? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm talking
Let
to
me-
Levi.
Oh,
No,
Well,
I'm talking to Levi.
let's just restart. Let's just restart.
let me
this.
restart that. Let me
Let's
restart
because
that.
He's gotta. Yeah. There's too much.
So rankings and final thoughts on this episode. For me, I think this is I think this is an 8.6, 8.7. I could even push it to a 9. I do really love this episode, but there are some ones that I love a whole lot more. But this is just a classic, like well directed, like well shot. Everything was really great in this episode, and I love this version of Poison Ivy as well. Yeah, that's it for me.
Well, I'm sort of surprised that you're there because I am not that far off in my ranking. Like my
Mhm.
instinct is to go like 8.2, 8.3, like right around there.
Close
so
to
not
9,
So yeah, so not that much lower. And I think what I'll say is, and sort of what I've been saying this whole time is that if and when I watch this again, I know the story going in. I'm not like
Yeah.
kind of disappointed, or not disappointed, but a little underwhelmed by the story because like, oh, I've seen this
The-
before. Like I know this.
Well, you
before.
said you had the preconceptions of
And the
Batman and Robin in
preconceptions,
your head,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. The preconceptions. I think this has the potential to be like an 8.5 or a 9, but as of right now for me, this is like it's like an 8.3, I'd say.
I could push it to
Solid
a 9
8
as
though.
well,
I
but-
mean, 8 is
Yeah.
good. 8 is great. I mean,
8
this
is good.
This is an amazingly made episode.
It gets hard to rank this show because it's
I think-
overall such good quality. But
I think I still like
Nothing
yeah,
to
yeah,
fear.
I'm curious.
Nothing to Fear more.
Nothing to fear more.
Nothing to Fear, yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's a good question too. Out of the episodes that we've Ben, I'll let you start. But out of the episodes we've seen, which one's your favorite here? But Ben, go ahead.
This is definitely my favorite out of the 5 that we've covered so far.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it an 8.9.
8-9. Okay. Yeah. I think I like All Nether Wings. I really do love All Nether Wings. I think that might be my favorite. of
We
the
all
bunch
have
here.
a different favorite one.
Yeah,
like
I think so. I got to think about that more.
Nothing
but I
Nothing
think
to
so,
Fear is
but-
definitely mine. Nothing to Fear is
Okay.
definitely mine.
Nothing to Fear's got a lot going for it, so I understand that. But anyways, that's our final thoughts on this episode. Let us know your thoughts on this episode in the comments, in your rankings, favorite part, etc. And be sure to subscribe to the channel for more of these episodes, as well as a host of other content. And we'll be sure to see you guys soon. Bye bye.